следующий спикер у нас из США расскажет один из частых вопросов, часто люди нам задают, как стать доктором, да, в США. И вот следующий спикер расскажет, как в США все-таки стать доктором. Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hello, hi Sergio. Is that for me?
Yes, yes, it's for you. Yes.
Lovely.
I can mispronounce your name. How should I pronounce your name?
My name's Buthena. It's quite a difficult one,
Buthena,
but good
yeah.
evening and thank you very much for having me today.
Yes. Please tell us you can start your presentation and tell us how to become a doctor in US. Is it
fantastic?
And how expensive is it? And is it possible for foreign students, for foreigners to become a doctor too?
Yes, of course. I'll go through all of that. Thank you very much again, Sergey, and I will share my screen if that's okay with everyone.
Yes, yes, you can do it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Fantastic. So good evening, everyone. My name is Buthena, and I am here to represent St. George's University. I am the regional manager, and I look after student recruitment from the UK, Europe, Russia, and CIS. Really excited to be talking to you all today. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a history about St. George's University School of Medicine. This beautiful purpose-built campus is our university. We were actually founded in 1976, so it's been 44 years now and really exciting for us. We were the first medical school to be established in the Caribbean. So we have 65 buildings as part of our purpose-built campus, and I'm just going to take you through a bit more information about St. George's University, but most importantly today to talk to you about how to become a practicing physician, a doctor in the USA, and how St. George's University can hopefully make that happen for you. So St. George's University to date has graduated over 18,000 successful physicians, and these 18,000 graduates today are practicing doctors in all 50 states around the United States and in over 50 countries around the world. I'm just going to cover a number of questions that probably many of you will be wondering at this point, and these are really important questions to discuss your route into becoming a practicing physician in the US. So the first question that comes to mind is, will I get a US residency if I study medicine at St. George's University? And I'll just give you some statistics here. 92% of eligible non-US 2020 graduates who applied for US postgraduate positions obtained one at time of graduation. And what does that really mean? What that means is 92% of our international cohort were able to obtain a US residency placement upon graduation. That's something that we are extremely proud of, because if you compare it to the percentage of international students in US medical schools that are based in the US who are able to obtain a US residency upon graduation, then consistently for them, it has been below 60%. So you can see we're extremely proud of our 92% of international graduates obtaining a US residency placement. And what that has meant for St. George's University is we are the #1 provider into first-year US residencies and have been for the last 11 years. In 2020, 1,110 of our graduates obtained a US residency upon graduation. So again, no other medical school around the world has had the number of graduates who were able to obtain a US residency on graduation as St. George's, not only in 2020, but for the last 11 years. So we're extremely, extremely proud of that. We're the second largest source of licensed physicians for the current workforce. So I'm just going to show you here, if you can see that these are the top 3 universities in terms of the currently licensed graduates in the US. So you can see #1 is Indiana University School of Medicine, which is a US medical school that is based in the US. And you can see the gap between them and us is actually a very small gap. So they have just over 11,800 graduates who are currently licensed in the US. We have 10,700 791 graduates who are currently licensed in the US. So we're the second largest source of physicians for the entire workforce from all around the world. So if you think about it internationally, we are the #1 international source of physicians for the entire workforce, because Indiana University is based in the US and so is Minnesota University. It's a very small gap, one that we're hoping to close in the next few years to become the #1 international and national source for physicians into US workforce. So our students have had success with US residency placements, for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons that I wanted to address today is that we have a number of different offices on campus that should support our students. We offer a very personalized guidance and support system, and that is really, really important in the success of our students. So one of those offices is the Office of Career Guidance and Student Development. And what they offer is an individualized US residency strategy to each and every one of our students. And what it means is the students are applying to US residency placements that they're highly qualified for and that they are a very strong match for. And that has really been one of the major reasons as to why we've had such huge success when it comes to US residency placements. It might not seem like a lot at the moment, but I'm going to explain the structure to you all, which will really help you have perspective in terms of the importance of having a US residency placement. Without one, you cannot become a licensed and you cannot practice medicine in the USA. So the second question is, how will St. George's University Clinical Network help me obtain a residency? So before you start your residencies, during your studies with us, the last 2 years will be clinical rotations. What that means is you're learning through clinical trainings to develop the necessary skills. We have 70 plus affiliated hospitals and clinical centers in the US, UK, and Canada. So our students can choose to do a number of different rotations in a number of these different hospitals and clinical centers. And that really gives our students a huge competitive advantage because they get to experience a number of international medical systems before they even graduate with us. Does my education at St. George's University prepare me for the USMLE? You might not know what the USMLE is. It is the United States Medical Licensing Exam. Again, without passing it, you cannot get your license and become a practicing physician in the US. It has 3 different steps. Step 1 and step 2, you will take while at St. George's University, and step 3, you will take during your US residency placement. So we've had huge success with our USMLE exams. We fully prepare our students for them. And in 2019, 94% was actually our first time pass rate for the USMLE step 1. And this is for students who sat this exam in 2019 from 48 different countries from all around the world. I'll come back to this. And just to give you a bit of a brief, St. George's University's main campus is in Grenada. It's the one I showed you at the beginning of our presentation. And it's what we refer to as our true blue campus. We have 2 other locations through partner universities, which means students can study some of their course at one of our partner universities. And that is the University of Northumbria University in Newcastle in the UK, or Ramaya University in India. And these are optional choices, and I'll explain them to you right now. This is a really important graph to understand how to become a doctor in the USA. First of all, what we offer, we're a US medical school that offers a US curriculum, but we are based in the Caribbean, in Grenada, in the Caribbean. Our program is a Doctor of Medicine program, which is an MD, medical doctor degree. So there are different entry levels into our MD degree. There's a 4-year MD degree, a 5-year MD degree, a 6-year MD degree, and a 7-year MD degree. We don't really have a lot of time today, but I'm just going to take you through an outline to explain how you become a doctor in the US. I'm going to take one example, and this is only one. Let's say you already have a Bachelor of Science in biomedical sciences or genetics or biochemistry or any related field, and you want to become a doctor in the US. So you can apply to our 4-year MD degree. So you're eligible to apply for the 4-year MD degree. And what that means is the first 2 years, you will study your basic sciences, and the last 2 years, you will do your clinical rotations. So in basic sciences year 1, you'll learn about the basic principles of medicine. And you can study this year either on our main campus in Grenada or in our partner university in the UK, Northumbria University. Your second year of basic sciences, you have to study on our main campus in Grenada, and you will learn about the principles of clinical medicine. Once you complete your 2 years of basic sciences, you will sit your USMLE Step 1 exam, which is the United States Medical Licensing Step 1 exam, which is the one that we said that our first-time pass rate is 94%. Then you'll move on to do your clinical rotations, and this is basically your clinical training in one or more of our 70+ affiliated hospitals, either in the US, UK, or in Canada as well. During the first year, you'll do your your core rotations, and you'll do 42 weeks of them. And during your second year, you'll do your internships and electives, which are 38 weeks of clinical rotations. During those 2 years, you'll take USMLE Step 2, which is basically your clinical knowledge and your clinical skills. Once you complete all 4 years, you will graduate with an MD degree, which is a Doctor of Medicine. At that point, you've graduated, you've received your MD degree, and hopefully you'll have passed your USMLE Step 1 and USMLE Step 2. During those years, obviously while with us, you'll be applying, in the last year, you'll be applying for your US residency placements, which, as we said, 92% of our international students are able to obtain upon graduation. What that means is once you complete your 4 years, you graduate, you get your MD degree. Hopefully you're one of the 92% who are able to obtain a US residency placement. You then become a resident at a US hospital. At that point, you're no longer a student paying tuition. If anything, it's a paid residency. So your visa status also changes to a J1 visa, which is a non-immigration visa that's offered really for clinical training purposes. The US residency is a 3-year practice. So you'll do 3 years of being a resident at a US hospital. During the first year, you'll sit USMLE Step 3 and hopefully pass that. You'll do 3 years of being a resident at a US hospital. Again, as we say, it's paid. You're no longer a student. You're not paying tuition. And then once you complete your US residency, at that point, you can apply for the state or local board. And once you pass that, you can then become a licensed and practicing physician in the US. So that is the journey of how to become a licensed or practice physician in the US. There are different entry levels as to where you can enter our program. So as I said, if you've already completed a Bachelor of Science, you're eligible to apply for the 4-year. If, for example, you've completed an international curriculum or a medicine foundation, then you're eligible to apply for the 6-year MD degree. If you've done high school, a local curriculum, depending on the background and the subjects, you're eligible to apply most likely to the 7-year MD degree. And we review the 6-year MD degree really for students, for example, who've done the baccalaureate, the IB certificate, or an AS equivalency. The flags at the bottom represents which of our campuses you can choose to study at. So it's a really interesting program, very international, gives our students a huge competitive advantage over any other student who is studying medicine anywhere else around the world. St. George's University is definitely the right choice for you. I have a lot more to show you, but we're sort of almost running out of time. So I'd rather maybe just give you a couple of minutes if you have any questions that you would like me to address, while I just move on just to show you some images, for example, of St. George's University. Any questions that have come up in the chat, Sergey, or the rest of the team that you'd like me to address?
I have a question for you. How much does it cost to study? What is the tuition?
Yes, so depending on your entry level, as we said, so I'll just go back to this. The first 2 years of basic sciences cost around $140,000 tuition fees. And then the
last Is it for 2 years or for 1 year?
That's for the 2 years.
2 years, okay. So 140,000, right?
$140,000 tuition fees only. And then the last 2 years of clinical rotations cost around $160,000. So for the 4-year MD degree, you're looking at around $3,000 tuition only. I will say we do have some amazing scholarship opportunities, and students are eligible, international students are eligible to apply for scholarships, and the scholarships can range between $20,000 to $120,000, and that's for the full duration of your study. They are really offered based on 3 factors. The first one is a merit base, so based on a student's academic excellence. The second one is based on the student's background in terms of voluntary and work experience. So, you know, what really shines in terms of the voluntary and work experience that they have. And then the last one is a need base. We basically look at a student's financial situation, and then we have a scholarship committee who make a decision as to the amount of scholarship a student is awarded.
Okay, but do you have some shorter period of time? For example, we have doctors in Russia and Belarus who have already experience as a doctor. Do you have shorter pathway for them to become a doctor, or even they have a practice?
So the shortest program is the 4-year MD degree for us.
So it's 4 years with you.
Okay. Yes.
And it's quite expensive, right? But
yes. If you've done your research into medicine abroad, it is quite expensive, extremely competitive. So we're really looking for students who are passionate about medicine, who know the commitment it takes.
Right.
And, you know, we're definitely the best choice for students out there who are looking to becoming practicing physicians in the US. It's a huge investment, but the return on investment is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, and we have one more question from Carly.
Yes.
I will turn on her sound.
Yes.
Yes. So please, Carly, you can ask your question.
Yes, you guys support niggers? You guys support niggers?
Sorry, Carly, you were breaking up. I didn't quite make what you were trying to ask there. Maybe you can type it into the chat.
Yeah, maybe you can ask in the chat, and then I will repeat I will read the question. So Carly, please write in the chat, and we ask, or then later you can ask here, like in the chat, and I will read this question. Because so is this? Well, just wait a second, maybe. We will ask, or then you have a personal. You have a personal. You have a personal, right? They can schedule personal meeting with you, right? You have a calendar. Do you have?
Yes.
So they can ask you questions. Yes, directly with you. So I think it's the case that what we can do later. So if they're interested. So, but basically, do you provide any like scholarship or loans, or if parents have less than like they can?
Yeah, so we offer a number of different scholarships, and as I said, the scholarships will range anything between $20,000 up to $120,000 for the full duration of study with us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for presentation. I really enjoy this. Thank you very much. So